So this week we're going to continue learning about the world of adolescence, particularly this week, the social emotional development. Basically, their search for identity. So Erickson comes to the forefront there. He feels adolescents face a crisis between identity and role confusion. They're striving for a balance, and they will try out many different possibilities of themselves. He believes that teens who are confused about their identity can never experience identity in any human relationship. So I'm not so sure that's totally correct, as many do struggle, but eventually they do overcome that and can develop good human relations. You will see teens experiment with many different parts of themselves. I can remember when our son was going through the skateboarder phase, and not that that's a bad phase, but that was just so unlike him. All of a sudden, he was all into skateboarding, and part of it was the group of peers he was running around with. And also about that time, he probably was letting his hair grow long, and I thought, oh gosh, don't need to worry about hair because you can always cut that. So we just went with the flow. Parents who fight against a phase, now if they're putting themselves in danger, you do need to fight against that phase. But if it's just a phase, just go with the flow, be supportive, and they'll move right out of it just as quickly as they came into it and eventually establish their true identity. And it is a process. Few teens develop an identity all at once. So you will see them going through those stages. Another stage they go through is that of adolescent egocentrism. They see things only from their perspective. And this can cause some strife between parents and youth. So know that they're going to go through that. Some other aspects that children will go through during the adolescent phase is the imaginary audience. They feel they are constantly being watched by others. And they also go through a personal fable. They think that nobody else feels like they do. And they also go through that illusion of invulnerability. We talked about that last week. Your chapter talks about ethnic identity. And we do need to feel like we belong to the ethnicity that we were born into. We need to learn our special customs and traditions and experience those. Self-esteem in adolescence is so important. By the beginning of adolescence, it's starting to stabilize. When they were going into middle school, junior high, it was probably very, very trying time, a very, very trying time. But as they get into adolescence, hopefully that has stabilized. Two factors that do contribute to an adolescent's self-esteem include finding a skill they are good at. Help them learn to be good at something. If they can feel good at something, then that will help raise their self-esteem. And then the other thing is know that their self-worth is affected as to how others view them. So this depends a lot on parents. I'm not sure what happened there. I was just talking along and I looked down and my time was still at 3:51 and I was about through with it. So I re-listened. I know where I stopped off, and now we'll continue on this slide. Hopefully you'll get it figured out that I didn't do it all on one slide. There is a myth of storm and stress, that adolescence is going to be a very combative, rebellious, argumentative phase. Well, that could become a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you believe that, then you're going to get that. But that is a myth. It does not have to be. Adolescents can get along great with their parents. When they feel they have the respect and love for their parents, they will respect their parents' values and feel that love. So just know that you do not have to have a rebellious time, and adolescence can be a smooth sailing process. Romance and relationships. Last week we talked about sexuality. This chapter talks more about romantic relationships.